Today I'm playing Challenger for the Nintendo Famicom, released for the Famicom back in 1985 by Hudson Soft. A version of this game was apparently released on the MSX and the Commodore 64 as well, although Wikipedia tells me those versions might only be limited to the first level. There are some homebrew ports out there for the NES, and someone went as far as to even make a box to go along with it, and they look great, but as best as I can tell, this game was not officially released for the NES as a cartridge. It was released on the Wii and 3DS Virtual Consoles as digital downloads though, so there's that. Personally, I like to buy these Famicom carts because they look great, and they're usually kinda cheaper to buy, so that's a win-win. And occasionally, of course, there is a risk of getting a game that's in Japanese, and that makes it unplayable as a result, but usually a quick internet search on my phone will let me know if I should take a chance on a game or not. I also ended up purchasing a translated manual online for this one. Someone translated it and was selling it for a couple of bucks. That helped fill in some of the blanks. We're not talking a very deep story here, but, you know, it is 1985 NES stuff. It feels on par, I guess. For the most part, Challenger is an action platformer that's relatively tough in its handling. There are a few different level types, or scenes is how they refer to them, and the gameplay can handle differently between them. It makes this one kinda unique, but confusing at the same time. We do get a pretty nice start screen though, because it lets you set the difficulty. We get a slider, and the further you go to the right, the more enemies you're going to face on screen, and obviously as a result, things are going to be harder. I always start in the middle, and I go from there. You play the character Challenger, and your job is to rescue the kidnapped princess. Which isn't a wholly original quest, I suppose, but it's what we have. The first level, or scene, is a side-scrolling adventure where you need to move along the top of a speeding train, and then get inside the train and make your way back to the front. You get a handful of lives to do this because you can't take a hit. You have to make your way by these floating birds, these little green guys that look like they came from a Pink Panther cartoon, and then there are some electrical clouds. This will get you through the top of the train, and then inside the train, you have to duck beneath fireballs and throw knives to kill men. A lot of men, actually. The A button throws and the B button jumps. Apparently, you're an excellent knife thrower, and you have unlimited knives to throw. However, you can only throw one knife at a time, and you can't jump and throw a knife at the same time, and you can't duck and throw a knife. That makes this game so much harder, and as a result, this level in particular, becomes about you learning where the enemies are going to be, and then just timing your throws and ducks correctly. I'm also not sure why we're killing all these birds or people, because we're certainly feeding a bunch of grave sites with the body count. It took me a few minutes to get the hang of all this, but getting through the first scene, it's really just a matter of being careful and persistent. I don't think it's too hard overall. The second scene is a totally different box of rocks. First, the game style changes. It now gives us the layout of The Legend of Zelda, and the map is pretty large actually. Apparently it's 100 screens, a 10 by 10 grid, and with the exception of obstacles, you can move in most directions. You can go north, south, east, west, no angles. And you can still throw knives, but you can't jump anymore. But you also get a health bar. You can take more than one hit. And we now have a timer that you have to pay attention to. There is a way to reset this clock, and that's actually something you're going to have to do. You need to go inside caves. Your job is to find caves, go inside, and get what's ever in there. Every time you come out of a cave, the time resets. The caves are actually considered to be the third scene of the game, and they're good for other reasons. Specifically, this is where you're going to find the keywords. They call them keywords in this game, not keys. This is what you're looking for. You need 3 different keys, and when you get 3, you can find and open the pyramid, and then you can save the princess. When you go into a cave, it does switch the gameplay back to how it was on the first scene of the game. Now we're back to moving left and right with a jump button. It's only one screen though in size, so it's not like it's scrolling. You gotta jump along a platform of some kind, and get whatever the object is, and then you head back outside to the map level. Depending on the difficulty level you selected, there might be a skeleton blocking the entrance to the cave, and you can't kill this creature with your regular knives. But if you kill 4 enemies in a row without missing, they're gonna drop a power-up item, and that will let you potentially upgrade your weapon. You're gonna get a power sword or a jewel, and you can't run into it to pick it up, you have to shoot at it with your knife. I've killed myself by walking into a power sword, it's very frustrating. If you get the jewel, I think it lets you kill every enemy on screen. And when you get the sword, it upgrades your knife, and then you can also run really fast for a little while. They're not permanent upgrades, so if you're going to try to kill a skeleton, you probably want to stay within range of it as you get your power up. You can also sneak into a cave if you time your move right, if you come in from the side while it's jumping. It is a little risky to do that though. When you manage to get all the keywords, hopefully, it gets you to the 4th scene, which is the final pyramid level. This is where you're going to fight the boss and rescue the princess. If you do that, the game loops and you can play again. But it's not easy necessarily to get there. I did see some run-throughs online. Pretty good skill with some of those people. I haven't been able to make it to the end yet. The game does give us a pretty wide map, which is great. We get multiple caves to find and explore, and there are also some hidden areas apparently, to make things maybe a little more interesting or difficult. I think extra stuff is always nice, but this game is not short on difficulty. And it's just not easy to keep out of the way of some of these creatures while you're moving around the map level. It just handles really boxy. It's just difficult. It's a great map though, it's huge, and it's fascinating with some different colors and styles. I like that. It's pretty big, 10 by 10 grid, not bad. Feels like The Legend of Zelda in that regard. I do like the difficulty setting option, that's great. You can play this one on super easy if you want, and you can beat it, and then you can kick it up to make it more challenging. It definitely makes it more accessible to less experienced players, and it gives you an opportunity to find your way around the map. It's a good thing for a game that's difficult to start with. I usually play in the middle of the road, so that's sort of where I land. I don't like to get it too easy, and still haven't beat it yet, so here we are. Also, I think your avatar looks like the cartoon character Brave Star from the 80s Filmation cartoon show. Seriously, I can't not see this. Well, that's all I have today for Challenger for the Famicom. Thanks for stopping by to take a look, and hope to catch you on another video.